Hey everyone, welcome into an at-home edition of the Cleveland Browns Report. Matthew Peterson here talking about Deshaun Watson's contract restructure, what it means, and maybe more importantly, what it doesn't mean, because there are a lot of people running out there not knowing exactly what it all entails. So I want to give you guys the complete breakdown of everything surrounding Watson's contract restructure. I am at home for the holiday, so it truly is kind of an at-home, so sorry for the less optimal lights and audio kind of setup we have going right now. But let's talk about it, because we had Ian Rappaport kind of break the news that Deshaun Watson's contract has been restructured, and it's not very clear, I think, to a general fan of what a contract restructure means. First and foremost, a contract restructure is not a pay cut. Do not look at this like a favor that Watson is doing the Browns, okay? That is not what a contract restructure is. All the guaranteed money for Deshaun Watson, $92 million remaining, is still going to go to him for 2025 and 2026. What the Browns have done with this contract restructure is they have made it more manageable for them to move on from Watson maybe after 2025, going into the 2026 season. They have added more years to his contract, but they're not years that he's going to play in. It's just one more year for them to spread the cap hit out. So if you think about what a basic salary cap looks like, is you've got, let's say, for making it math, simple and easy here, $100 million over 5 years, and you can put $20 million in every single one of those 5 years. But the salary cap in the first of those 5 years might be $200 million. The salary cap in the fifth year of those 5 years might be $250 million. So $20 million out of a $200 million salary cap has a much higher percentage hit than $20 million out of a $250 million salary cap. So what the Browns have done, and this is just their way of doing things because they have a very rich owner, Jimmy Haslam, who has green-lighted this aggressive spending, is they are going to push money into the future, which people like to say kicking the can down the road, knowing the salary cap will continue to go up, and thus the percentage cap hit for that player is going to go down. It's not very simple, and it's a little complex, and even for me, who spends a lot of time trying to learn the salary cap and understand like the back of my hand, there's a lot of mumbo jumbo. The salary cap is a myth, all that good stuff. But in short, the Browns have added an extra year onto Deshaun Watson's contract, so they are pushing the can down the road, so to speak. But more importantly, they are just making it more manageable to have that salary cap hit in the future, when the salary cap is going to be bigger than it is now, and they continue to, that allows them to continue to be aggressive spenders on their own players, because the Browns have made so many contract extensions over the last couple of years, milestone ones, Denzel Ward's like just one that comes to mind right now, Jerry Jeudy, all that good stuff. So that's kind of the short version of what happened today with Deshaun Watson's contract. So before, and it's probably too late at this point, you go down to the comment section and you just start ripping them apart or whatever. This is ultimately, I think, a good move for the Cleveland Browns. Now, you can look at it as, well, this just makes it not more difficult for the Browns to move on from Watson, but for the Browns to have Deshaun Watson on their books for a longer period of time instead of just biting the bullet, and that way when his contract is up, they are free and he's off the books and everything like that. I think that is, and I don't want to be rude here, but I think that's a simplistic way of looking at the way the NFL salary cap works. That would be a good way to work it if the salary cap never changed, but it goes up. As long as we don't have COVID 2027, like, the salary cap for the NFL is going to continue to rise. Look at all the money the NFL made from Netflix, like $150 million in one day. That's $150 million divided by 32. So when the NFL releases all of their earnings to the team, to the players and whatnot, they're going to look at all that revenue, and players are going to go, all right, looks like you guys are making more money than ever. We want to make more money now. So the salary cap's going to go up so we can get paid more. I mean, that's just basic economics of the NFL. And so as a result, the salary cap going up, the Browns are like, well, we could pay $46 million now, and that would cost us about 15% of our salary cap space. Or we can push it in the future, the cap will go up, and it will cost us about 8% of our salary cap space. Imagine that then times over multiple years, and you're going to have a good chunk of percentage points available to salary cap space. So you could look at it as like a Bobby Bonilla day, right? New York Mets legend of just adding a bunch of years onto the contract and making small payments over a long period of time. But baseball doesn't have like a salary cap, right? It's not quite apples to apples for the NFL. All right, before we get more into the subject here, I do have to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Prize Picks. So during the holiday season, if you're spending a lot of time at home with the family and maybe you're looking for some extra fun, some extra rooting interest while watching all the games like the bowl games and things like that, Prize Picks is an awesome, fun tool to use because all you got to do is select 2 to 6 players and then choose more or less on their projected stats. So they had up to 1,000 times your cash during Pickmas. So hop on Prize Picks if you are looking to have some additional interest. I look at it as, hey, me and my girlfriend, or I can say that, fiance, we're going to have some extra fun while watching this game here because she has no interest in sports really. But with Prize Picks, all of a sudden if our selections hit, well, we got date night paid for, right? We're going out to a nice restaurant. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. I put all that information for you in the comments and description of today's video. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, so just kind of wrap up the whole Deshaun Watson segment here because they've restructured him multiple times, and there's definitely, I should have probably led the video off, solidifies he will be with the Browns in 2025, which I don't think that should be really groundbreaking information. I know as we get further away from the injury and whatnot, like maybe there's just a little bit more impatience that grows, but guys, nothing's changed from the day he got injured to today. Like his salary cap number hasn't changed next year. Neither has the dead cap hit. They're not moving on from him. He may not be the starter, right? And he may not be the starter because he's still coming back from the Achilles injury or because they just kind of outright demoted him, or maybe they'll just kind of cover it up by saying it's because of the Achilles injury, but it's really just a demotion. But he is coming back in 2025. And we'll see how it goes. I don't want to speculate for 2026 because so much can change, and I don't think we should try and get too deep down that well of, well, if he plays bad next year, what if he plays good? Like, it's the NFL. Guys come and go, peaks and valleys, all that stuff here. But Watson's coming back for 2025. Now, the question that I think we really should be asking is, who else is going to be on that quarterback room? Like, I don't think it's going to be Jameis Winston. They just benched him. You benched him to re-sign him? Someone explain that to me in a way that makes some level of sense here. If you wanted to bring back Jameis, I mean, the only logical explanation I can come up with is they didn't bench him because of his play, but because they just wanted to give Dorian Thompson-Robinson a shot, right? Almost like it's a NHL goalie tandem of, no, you're not sitting tonight because of your poor play. We just want to see the other goalie, right? You see a lot of teams kind of have a, 2 goalie system and they kind of nearly alternate. So maybe that's what they, chalked it up to of, we still like Jameis. We still think he is a starting caliber quarterback, but we just wanted to give DTR 3 games so we can see a little bit of what he has to offer. I don't think it's that option. I think they just benched him, and I would be surprised if he came back, but I wouldn't rule it out. I don't think it's a 0% chance. I don't think it's a very good quarterback draft class to look into to try and fix your quarterback problems. I really hope they don't use a first-round pick on a quarterback because, to be honest with you guys, I don't think Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward is going to be really worthy of a top 5 draft pick. They're going to go top 5, but there have been so many drafts where we see quarterbacks go in round 1 because teams are desperate for quarterbacks, but it doesn't mean they're a round 1 kind of guy. And while I do think they have like round 1, pedigree to it, top 5 draft pick, top 3 draft pick, number 1 overall draft pick, that I'm not so certain about. Like, look at the way like Bryce Young has played, for example, all right? He was number 1 overall draft pick. And there wasn't much debate over that. Like, it was pretty much consensus. Like, yep, that's a solid pick, right? Look how he's played. And now remember what he was like at Alabama coming out versus what Cam Ward coming out of Miami and Shedeur Sanders coming out of Colorado is like. Are they anywhere near Bryce Young? I don't think so. At least coming out of college, no. So I would much rather see the Browns just go best player available, whether that be an offensive tackle, Kelvin Banks, Will Campbell, whether that's Abdul Carter, edge rusher out of Penn State, corner, Will Johnson out of Michigan. But I would not go quarterback. You could save quarterback for maybe round 3. You got 2 third-round picks, one via the Bills and your own because of the Amari Cooper trade. So I hope the Browns don't force a quarterback pick and then basically go like 4 years without a first-round draft pick. 3 from the Watson trade and then 1 because he used it on a quarterback who was no good, so you didn't get any production out of that player, so you may as well never had the draft pick. All right, that will do it for me on my at-home edition. Appreciate everyone for tuning in here. Thank you for your patience and whatnot for it not being a full, bells and whistles type of video. But hope everyone watching had a wonderful Christmas. Happy New Year coming up, and I'll see you guys back in the studios either tomorrow or Sunday.